Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to me, Rob, here in the loft at Kickback Garage. Now, this is my nerve centre, and I want to do it a little bit cosy today because this is a special anniversary edition of a video that I'm going to make. Whereas I started Kickback Garage officially 2 years ago, and now that 2 years has gone, I'm going to do a bit of a question and answers type video for you today. So if that's something you fancy having a look at, then grab yourself a coffee, or I am definitely on the whiskey today, and I'll send the intro. Whoop! Messing around with these cameras, batteries going flat.
Markerte det med regn, alle sprang I lag og ville komme under tak. Ingen av oss merket at du hadde falt I frak. Hvorfor valgte du å dra? Hvem I faen kunne se den komme? Da høsten tok over, sa vi hadde brattet oss sommer.
So, as you might have figured from the intro, it's 2 years ago since I started publishing scooter videos on YouTube. Now, my channel was started in 2015, but I did nothing with it. I did actually used to have a bit of mountain bike footage, because that's also a thing that I like to mess around with. But so I've been publishing videos for 2 years, and I have almost got 3,000 followers, which is amazing, really, considering the fact that scootering is such a small niche. Yeah, it's a tiny, tiny niche. I mean, we want to know, we really think that we're the center of the universe, but we're not. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through as many questions as I can in sort of a 20-minute period. Let's have a look at the time. Let's see what it says. Right, so a 20-minute period. Okay, right, we'll see what I can do. And hopefully answer a lot of the questions that have been asked. So I'm going to start with the first question, and that is, how did Kickback Garage start? Well, not really that interesting, to tell you the truth. It all started really because here in Norway, the scooter scene is really small, and I got quite a few questions from the boys, particularly in Oslo Scooter Club called the Wrestler Scooter Club. And what I started doing, I just got so fed up of writing long texts. What I did was take some small video clips with my mobile phone and sent them over, you know, like small tutorials and stuff like that. And the lads that I was sending them to were saying, this is actually pretty good. So I would like to see this sort of stuff on YouTube. And here we are today. I've almost got 3,000 followers, and what else have I got? I've got 3,000 followers almost, and I've almost got 400,000 views, which is absolutely amazing, to tell you the truth. But yeah, and I'll keep on making these videos as long as you guys think that this stuff is interesting. So that's how I started. Let's have a look at question number 2. What got you into scooters? Now, this is actually quite funny, and am I going to tell you the real version? I think so. I'll do that. I'm on the whiskey, so I'll do that. Right. Well, when I was 15 years old, I was dating this girl in Blackburn. That's where I come from. I was born in Manchester, lived in Blackburn, lad. And I had a moped. I had a DT50, I think it was, and it was about 10 years old, a horrible little thing. And I was dating this girl, and her brother really didn't like the fact that I was dating her. And one day I got really cocky, and I rode past him. He was riding a moped as well. Well, what I presumed was a moped. And what it actually turned out to be was a PX 200. It was a little bit older than I was. And I gave him the finger, and he obviously caught me up again and stopped. And he smacked me in the face. And I was, unfortunately for me, I was wearing a half helmet, you know, like a piss pot. And he had a full face helmet. And I was just absolutely, literally gobsmacked. And when they rode off into the sunset, as you will, the only thoughts I had in my head at the time was, wow, those scooters were really cool. so that's sort of what sparked off my interest in scooters. And I'm going to talk about some of the other stuff later on because I've got loads of questions. So that's question number 2 answered. Right, question number 3. How did you come up with the name Kickback Garage? Well, that's pretty simple, really. Because I've got a lack of imagination. When the first videos, if you notice, the first videos that actually popped up on my channel were of my BSAs. I've had quite a few BSAs, motorbikes that is. Don't turn off! I prefer scooters. I actually only build motorbikes because I got a bit fed up of going to like motorbike meetings, gatherings that they've got in town and stuff, events before COVID. And a lot of the biker lads, they sort of turned another cheek when I came on my scooters. They really didn't think that, I think for them it was worthless, and it wasn't really a proper rideable machine. So yeah, and they just don't know how much work goes into these things. So what I ended up doing, I built 3, 4, 5 motorbikes, aerial and BSA, British bikes, old bikes, and I basically did that just to show them that it takes the same skill set, sort of put them in their place. And it didn't work. But never mind. Because obviously the Harley guys, they don't think Brit bikes are cool anyway. So that was my attempt at being cool, basically. So I've got quite a few of the earlier videos on the BSAs that I built. And the first one that I had that was a twin, it was a 750 BSA A65, if you're interested in that sort of stuff. In a Rickman Matisse frame, original Rickman Matisse frame, the stuff that Mr. What's it called? What's that actor called? Damn it, Steve McQueen, of course. He made those famous back in the day. So 1966 twin BSA, and that thing, something completely wrong with the timing. So when I first bought it, it used to kick back, and it made a real mess of my shin. So that's where I came up with the name Kickback Garage. I don't have scooters that kick back because now I know how to set timing. Right, question number 4. And this one is I'm sorry, I'm not going to mention your name, but this one I will mention the name of this guy because he's a bit of a hero of mine. Is an old guy who raced in Isle of Man back in the day, on a Vespa, by the way. But he sent me a question, and I just need to try and find that. Just 1 second. Right, I found the question. He actually sent that to me as a personal message on my Kickback Garage page, even though we're Facebook friends and real friends in real life. I've ridden with the bloke. This is from Jens in Sweden, also known as Scooter Daddy. I wonder if I'm going to try and pick up a photo and stick that in. Yeah, I'll stick up a photo of the old Isle of Man. Yeah, can you see it? Yeah, that is just really, really cool. So this is the question from him. Hi, Rob. Yes, one question about your taste in Lambrettas. You did own about the most beautiful Series 3 I have ever seen, the turquoise Isle of Man replica, but you sold it. You bought yourself a Monster DL and made it better, that's true. And that was also sold. And now you just own Tourid, the Series 2, and the Shrek mobile, which is the Series 1. But in my humble opinion, Series 3 DL Lambrettas are so much more beautiful than the Series 1 and 2. All the best, and I hope no offence taken. Absolutely no offence there, Jens. I really, really good question. Now, the reason why I really got into scooters was because they're beautiful looking things. No other reason for that. And to answer Dave and Helen's question as well at the same time, I've never been in some sort of scene, no scooter scene. I wasn't in the scooter scene in the 80s in the UK. I was in the army by that time. So, yeah, it really, really is simply because I think they are beautiful looking machines. And even the motorbikes that I've owned, the old classic motorbikes that is, I think they're also beautiful looking machines. And for me, the cut-off line is 1961. Because as soon as 1962 sort of reared its ugly head for scooters, then or 66 for Vespers, they got a bit more edgy. And although I have owned a couple of DL scooters, Lambrettas, they just don't do it for me. I'm really, really sorry. The problem for me is that it's sort of a posing thing, isn't it? And if you buy a motorbike or a scooter, you do it, or build one, in my case, you do it because you like the beautiful lines. Now, Series 1s and Series 2, Series 1s, I used to think they were ugly, but I have really, really grown into those, and definitely my favourite looking scooter. It's just like the sort of the cut-off time there for Lambrettas for me, because on the older scooters, you've got the Lambretta emblem on the side and the badge on the front. It's got sort of a Cadillac sort of look about it, and they look old. That's my real beef, really. The slim style Lambrettas, they look so new. It's like when I turned up on the TV 175 when I was doing that test ride that I videoed. A lot of people want. I was actually asked by one person, not a lot of people, but one person. But I had it in the past also when I had the DL or GP 200s. People ask, "Oh, where did you buy that?" And it's like, "Where did I buy it? You can't buy these things like they are now. I mean, I can't go to it here in Norway. There's so few of them. I can't go to a shop and buy a DL 200. It's just not happening." But that was a bit upsetting because the design is a little bit too far into the future, or I reckon they look a little bit too modern. So that's why I like the beautiful curves of Vespa GS 150, 160. I love the Series 1. I love the curves, and actually, when it comes to Lambrettas, I reckon Series 1s and 2s, don't shoot me for this, they ride a little bit better. The links are placed differently. You've got a longer suspension in the back. So they have a slightly taller ride height. That's this one talking. And I just think they ride beautifully compared to the stumpy Series 3s. That's my opinion. We are probably completely on different pages about this. But basically, back to the question. Yep, I prefer the older ones because they look nicer. In my eyes, of course. I also really, really like LDs, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. Right, so another question. Right, question number 5. This is quite funny. I get asked this quite a lot, and I think it's really, really strange, to tell you the truth. Question number 5. Do you live off the channel? And that is very simple. Of course I don't. I have to say, I think it's quite strange that people ask me that. I make, I'll tell you how much I make on YouTube. I make about £60 a month. And for videos, I use at least 6 or 7 hours on each video, depending on what it is, plus editing time, just for a 20-minute video. So if I was going to live off YouTube, and Kickback Garage, firstly, I'd be very embarrassed about my production quality because I actually try and clip stuff. I keep that's the reason why I haven't got bloopers either, because I keep all that stuff in the videos, because I try and my opinion is, at least, that it might keep the videos a little bit interesting, just to show you that I'm just a normal bloke in a garage. So I definitely do not live off Kickback Garage. It's never going to happen. Unless I'm winning the lottery. Question number 6. What's your day job? Well, interesting. When I started the channel, I used to work as a suspension technician for mountain bikes and snowmobiles and stuff like that for a company called Fox Racing Shocks, or at least a distributor here in Norway. Now, at the moment, when COVID turned up, they had lots of adverts in the papers and stuff that they needed male staff and experience and necessary. So I signed up for that. And the whole of last year, I worked for the health service, and I had the suspension tech job. And at the moment now, I've phased out the suspension tech job. I'm just helping out in a place called Oppdal, which is miles away, 8 hours drive. And if you follow me on Facebook, if you don't, do that. Kickback Garage on Facebook. Click, like. And if you follow that, then you'll see that I have published a few snowy pictures. And that's because that's further up north and they've still got the snow there. So I'm there 1 week a month. And right at this very moment, I am working with COVID-19. What's it called? COVID-19 infected drug abusers, and that's sort of turned over to be my main source of income. Really, really interesting. I am definitely not qualified, but the important thing for the healthcare service at the time when I got employed was your head. So I'm pretty calm. I don't get too angry these days. so that helps a lot. And I've got a small gift of the gab, although that doesn't quite come through on the channel. So that's what I do. Right. Question number 7. What is your dream project? Well, that's a good question. My dream project when it comes to scooters, really, it's always the next one. I never seem to be able to get that satisfaction of being happy with something that I own at the moment. I'm always dreaming about something bigger and better. I've toned it down a little bit the last few years. I've had RBs and like fast-tuned engines, the SS240. But now I mostly use my scooters to putter around on the back roads that you've seen on the channel. Lovely. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful scooter country. We haven't had many national rallies, but hopefully we're going to meet up with some of the other clubs here in Norway. So I've got a couple of longer trips planned with both me and Shrek on the scooters. So I've sort of aimed a little bit more for reliability in the last couple of years, you see. What was I going to say? Yeah, my dream project, if I could, I just don't have the skills for it. And the DVLC in Norway is quite, what I'm going to say, strict about what you do with your machine. I would love to build, but like I said, I don't think I've got the skill set for it. I would like to take a Series 2 frame and mate it to LD bodywork, because that's even older than a Series 2. Like I said earlier, I love the old looking bikes. LDs are beautiful. They're just really, really nice machines. Problem being, they're a bit slow. They're not much better than a moped. So what I reckon I'd like to do is LI frame Series 2, fit LD bodywork. I've seen a few lads that have done that. Some a lot nicer than others, put it that way. And that'd be really cool. And a bit of a fruity motor and a nice front fork setup. And yeah, that's my dream project, I reckon. It's never going to happen, but that's something I'd really like to do. Right, so next question. Now I'm on my Facebook page, like I mentioned. I've got some questions that have turned up here. Barney Bailey, let's have a look. You've encountered lots of new products for Lambretta in your videos. If you could develop a product to improve Lambretta scooters, what would it be? That's a difficult question. The reason why that's a difficult question is because we have already, this is the golden age of building scooters. There are so many things you can buy for the Lambretta, and reliable things as well, and Vespers at the moment. So I'm not really into the liquid cool thing. I think that just complicates them a little bit too much. So what products? I'm just not smart enough to come up with a new product, to tell you the truth. I'm really happy with what's on the market at the moment. Well, most things that are on the market at the moment. So I really can't answer that question. A couple of interesting questions here from Andrew Bartlett. Let's have a look. Is Shrek's real name? No. It isn't his real name, but I'll tell you the story behind that. Shrek, by the way, is my son. He features in a few of my videos. The coolest thing about getting your kids interested in old crap is the fact that you always have someone to ride with. And that was a stroke of luck for me now in these COVID times. Because we live in the same house, I just ask him, shall we go for a ride? He jumps on his Lambretta, I jump on mine, and off we pop. It's just brilliant. It's really cool. I know it costs a lot of money to buy your sons and daughters Lambrettas, but there is no other way of getting fresh blood into the scene, because these things are really expensive. But so that's why I built it for him, because he was interested. And that's the reason why I sold my Rickman Matisse BSA, so that I could buy and build the Series 1 so that he could use it. But that's not really the question, but it's interesting. It's interesting. No, when he was younger, he used to play football. We used to have like a cozy name for him, like a cute thing or something like that in Norwegian, obviously. And that sort of stuck with him for quite a few years. And when he was playing football, we were using this cozy name, and he was a teenager. And he came up to us one day and he said, Mom, Dad, it's actually quite embarrassing calling me that name. And Anakin, which is my wife, she asked him, well, what shall we call you? And he just said, well, you can call me Shrek. And it sort of stuck. He even had it on his football shoes. So his real name is Sebastian. A good old proper English name there for you. Right, another question here from Andrew. If you were wiping the slate clean and Kickback Garage was starting from new, what would you have done differently with the channel? That's pretty simple, really. When I started out, I didn't have fancy lights like I've got this one. And the lighting was pretty poor, and I reckon the sound was pretty poor as well. So the first videos, if you go back and look at those, the quality has changed a little bit, hopefully at least, changed a little bit. I try and keep it looking amateur all the same, but yeah, so stuff like that would have been cool. And another thing is, I really should have started the channel when I built the Series 1, because I had quite a lot of bodywork issues on that. I had to do a bit of welding and fabricating and stuff that I haven't really done on the channel yet. But otherwise, I don't think I'd change anything. It's just a bit of fun. I'm just doing it for a bit of fun. And like I said, as long as you guys watch, I'll make it. It's just a laugh. And the thing that I love about that is I've got quite a few. I might even do a photo collage one day, because quite a few lads who've been built-in scooters, some of them, by the way, it was like projects they started 10 years ago and they've got stuck, and I haven't really been bothered to find out about things about it. They've been watching my videos, and I'd love to take the credit for it, but I have actually motivated folk to finish and complete their projects. So I know at least 10 or 11 scooters that have been built with the help of the channel, which I find quite amazing, really, because we've got lots of help anyway. You've got the old internets, and we've got Sticky's book, which changed everybody's life, really, when it comes to Lambrettas. But yeah, cool, very, very cool. Right, so I think my 20 minutes is up-ish. So I'll do this last question. Not really that interesting. Best comfortable and good-looking seat for a Lambretta DLGP. Now, this is a question from Tiago Piera. I presume he's Spanish. It could be Brazilian. I've got people watching the channel from all over the world. It's true, I have. It's huge. It's huge. But yeah, well, I have no idea, mate. The problem with Lambretta seats, GP Pegasus does not look nice on a GP DL. Looks out of place, if you ask me. The fast racy style of a GP doesn't suit a Pegasus, because the most comfortable seat I've actually used is the BDM Pegasus seat that I've got on my Series 2 at the moment. I would love to be able to afford one of those for my Series 1, but I might have something custom coming up there. But that's for a later video. So the DLGP, really, I think I don't like the coffin seats. I mean, if you're doing a proper restoration, then yeah, they're good, but they're not very comfortable. I prefer a seat like the Gory or something like that on a GP DL, and they are quite comfortable. I have to put it that way. They're quite comfortable. The some of the sports seats that are out there, the more expensive sports seats. The problem being, I reckon, is that you have to ride in a certain way. You know, you have to have your feet back style if that's going to be comfortable on the long haul. Because what I get problems with now that I'm almost 50, is they're a bit too low. So I get a shooting pain in my hips, which yeah, doesn't suit me whatsoever. So I like the taller seats preferably. Yeah, so if you want a really good looking seat, I think you should really go to yeah, someone like Andy Nixon or Cambridge Scoot and Soul. Get something custom done. Have a racy looking seat with a bit more padding, maybe some memory foam or something like that. So yeah, that's my opinion at least. So that's the questions done. So that's the end of the whiskey. So that also marks the end of the video. And I hope you found this interesting. Don't forget, if you don't subscribe, do the old subscribe. It does help the channel. You can also give the video a thumbs up. And if you want to support the channel, you can buy merch like this beautiful looking cap, or the hoodie that I haven't got on, or the t-shirt that I haven't got on either. It's watch day. It's watch day. And you could also just buy me a coffee. Now, the merch thing and the coffee thing, that all the money that I get from that goes straight into the channel. I'm always constantly need memory cards. I need to upgrade my computer because I've got that fancy 360 camera, and that is, they've got massive files. So just those small clips, my computer really struggles with that. So SSD RAM and all that sort of computerized stuff, that's where the merch and coffee money goes. So what I'll do, I will do the normal love you and leave you, and I'll see you all in the next one. Ta-ra! Messing around with these cameras, batteries going flat.
Markerte det med regn. Alle sprang I lag og ville komme under tak. Ingen av oss merket at du hadde falt I frak. Hvorfor valgte du å dra? Hvem I faen kunne se den komme? Da høsten tok over, sa vi hadde brått la oss sommer.
Right, so that's the end of the whiskey. Oh shit, I spilled some. Damn it! I'm actually